Hello everybody, Joe Locklear here. Got another house that is available for sale as a turnkey. Basically, when I say turnkey, I will sell it to an investor and then we'll go in, do the rehab for them, turn it over to our management company. So it'll be parceled out in pieces, the work will, but basically it'll be turnkey to you. So this home is at 903 Carrollton Road. It is a concrete block house. It does have a frame addition that's right over here. It's an excellent structural condition. It has newer windows that are very nice, and it's a good looking house. We're going to paint the outside, so we may change the color, but it's an attractive home. It's very spacious, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath with a den and an indoor laundry. So let's take a look. We'll take a look at the rear of the home. Very shaded lot. In fact, we've got a few tree limbs to cut. We need to clean off the roof. The roof does not appear to be leaking anywhere. Still has some life left in it. We've got to pressure wash and a little paint, a little yard work, and it'll much improve the appearance of the home. This will give you an idea of the construction. As you see, it's concrete block with a stucco coat on the outside. Now, I say stucco, but back in the late 50s and early 60s, when most of these homes were built, they actually used cement. So what they do, they would build it concrete block and they put a coat of cement on it. When you look at these homes, they're basically bomb shelters. They are very, very well constructed. So as you can see, this rounded edge here, that's actually solid cement. And then there's a cement coating with a kind of a pebble texture on it here. Makes for a real sturdy home. Again, a little bit of peeling paint on this house, but an outside paint job will make it look really, really nice. This is a picture standing kind of in the side of the yard looking at the rear yard. It's very spacious. Needs a little cleaning out, and we need to get these leaves up and maybe throw a little grass seed out. Here is the electric panel. It's a modern style panel. I believe it's 200 amps, so that's not an issue. And as we look at these rooms, actually my little camera died on me yesterday. I bought another one later in the afternoon, but my little portable cameras have a wide angle lens. I did this with my iPad that I had with me. So the photos aren't that great and they aren't that wide angle like you're used to seeing, but hopefully you'll be able to see what's going on here. This is where you step into the front door. This is now would be called a dining area. There is a shelf built in here that used to be a window. We'll just drywall over that entire wall and get rid of that shelf. It's just a dust catcher. And you'll see dirt everywhere in here. The house is really dirty. And so we're going to go in and seal the walls and do a nice paint job. It's the kind of house I love to buy. Structurally sound and ugly, but our renovation will move it out of the realm of ugly into the realm of a very desirable rental property. Okay, let's go to the next photo. Here's the kitchen. It has nice kitchen cabinets. I believe we're going to replace the counters because you can't see it in this picture. There's a scuff spot, I believe, right over here to the left. By the way, I looked at 12 houses yesterday, so basically sometimes these things run together. But we'll go over the repairs in detail on the construction estimate anyway. As you can see, there is an upper cabinet and another cabinet missing here. These are very easy cabinets to match, so we will replace these two cabinets. Okay, this is the den. Now this is paneled. We'll decide whether to leave it paneled or whether to paint it. I like to leave it paneled because when you paint it, there's a ton of caulking. But what we do want to do, this room's deep, it's about 20 foot deep. There's a closet here and a closet here. Right at this point here, we want to put a partition wall and wall off this laundry. Put a door in it so that this becomes a separate laundry and not part of the den, because it just isn't going to look that nice. Now that would give people the option of using this as a den or using it as a bedroom. If they choose to use it as a bedroom, this will be a 4-bedroom house. As you can see, this has been repiped. That's good. And little cleanup here. These people like foam, and I don't know why, but they foam this. We'll go in there and take a hacksaw blade, cut that foam down, put a little plate over it if we need to make it look proper. This is the bath. Basically, the bath needs some real good cleanup. And why they don't remove these stickers, I have no idea. It does, I believe, need a new vanity. But again, we'll get in the construction details. This house needs a lot of cleaning is one of the main items. And just, dirty paint colors, ugly rugs. We can really transform this house. Right now, it's pretty darn ugly. I'm almost ashamed to show it to you. Oh boy, I'm never ashamed. I got an old joke. The dirtier they are, the better I like them. I mean, cat urine turns me on. I love it. So basically, dirty house, that's good for us because we get a good sturdy concrete block house that we can really transform and make into something very desirable. Okay, this is the living room, I believe, and the living room is paneled, but behind the paneling is drywall. People used to like wood paneling. What we're going to do is tear it off and go back to the drywall. And here is another bedroom. They all kind of look the same with this iPad camera because you don't get the whole room in, but basically another dirty room. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the house. I do like this house. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have bought it. And I know you hear this all the time. Well, I like this one, I like that one. I buy what I would buy for myself, whether I'm going to sell it or whether I'm going to keep it, because sometimes I decide to keep them. And I can tell you, this is one that I don't mind keeping because it is a very solid house. It almost fits the criteria for the type of house you want for a rental property perfectly. Very, very good house to invest in. Okay, let's look at the construction or the remodeling. Let's begin with number one. We're going to pressure wash the exterior, and I'm not going to get in detail on the cost over here. If you'll email me, I'll be happy to send you the spreadsheet so you can go over it, or you can simply hit pause on this video and hopefully you'll be able to see the numbers good enough. We're going to pressure wash outside. We are going to mow and trim the yard, remove the debris. I've got about $250 in there for that. Ton of raking. You've got some dead tree limbs that are pretty good sized limbs that have to come out, about 600. You've got some siding repair. This is wood repair on the addition, not on the main house, at the entry and the storage room. We're going to insulate the exposed water pipes outside. We're going to repair the eave at the rear valley. Right in the corner at the bottom of one of the eaves, there's a little bit of, I don't know if it's rot from being leaves sitting on it or if it's damaged, but it's not that much. So we're going to repair that. We're going to restrap the power conduit to the AC condenser. Whoever stole the AC condenser, when they did, they bent the conduit, so we'll take care of that. There's a rear light at the back of the house that needs a new fixture. It's an old fixture. And then there's a piece of fascia right there that got torn off when somebody pulled. I'm thinking there was another light and somebody took it. This house, I'm sure, sat vacant for a while. And then we're going to put a new air conditioning system in. New in, new out, which means a new condenser, new evaporator. Cover plate at the washing machine drain. You saw me point that out. We're going to build a wall with a door at the den laundry. We talked about that. I want to make that an enclosed laundry and not part of the den or part of the fourth bedroom. We've got a couple of doors to replace, one at the den, one at the air conditioning closet. And we're going to take that air conditioning closet. It was built kind of cheaply with paneling. We're going to do it with studs and drywall and do it proper. When we get through with this house, we want a house that is very desirable and is very durable. And to do that, we need to get rid of that kind of not real good air conditioning closet. Plus, it's going to be loud. It's going to make your air conditioner louder inside the house. We're going to take the paneling at the living room down, and we're going to repair those walls and paint them the way it should be. I like original. I like an original house. I like a house that's like it was built. So the more we can make it conventional, the better off you're going to be for both durability and for desirability. We're going to paint the inside two colors. We're going to paint those ceilings. Now, there are some two-prong outlets. There are a couple of ways to handle two-prong outlets. One's to rewire, which you never want to do, especially in a concrete block house. But we can go with the two wires as long as we put GFCI breakers in the panel. So we pick up those circuits that have the two-wire lines, and we can actually put three-prong outlets in. People right now are having to use those little converters every time they plug something in with the ground. We can fix that legally and by code with GFCI breakers. They're a little expensive, but I've got about $800 in here to put those breakers in and to change out all those outlets. Then I try to throw something in for miscellaneous electric and miscellaneous plumbing, things that we may not know about, just to make sure. I really want this rehab to come in at or under the amount that I'm quoting. Sometimes that's not possible, but sometimes we are under and sometimes we're a little over, but we want it as accurate as possible. So we're throwing some money in here for miscellaneous electrical and miscellaneous plumbing. We're going to put a new medicine cabinet, a new toilet. We're going to replace the carpeting in the entire house. Install ceramic tile in the kitchen and the bath. So there's some bad looking vinyl in both of those now. And we're going to drywall over those shelves in the dining area. You saw me point that out, that it looks bad and it's a dust catcher. It would be less expensive to just drywall over them. Again, going back to conventional. And we're going to put a new kitchen sink and a faucet in. They're pretty deteriorated, pretty bad looking, the ones that are there. And rather than try to remove rust and this and that, we're just going to put new in there. I think that's the best thing to do. Then you've got those two cabinets over the sink, and then you've got to replace the shelves inside the pantry. There's a nice cabinet pantry, but the shelves are sagging. So we're going to put new shelves in there that won't sag again. And then I like to put money in for miscellaneous small items like doorknobs and door stops and smoke alarms, things that, if we listed, we'd have a list with 200 items on it. So we just throw it in here as miscellaneous small items. And then when we're done, we want to bring a maid service in to do a final clean to make this home ready to occupy. Now, when you add my estimate up, it comes to about $12,946. That is our company cost. Okay, we mark everything up 20% if you buy the home from us. People that come to us on the outside, I do 25 to 30%. But since you're going to buy this from me, then I am going to take our construction company and only mark it up 20%. Now that covers our profit and our cost and our internal cost, which you would call overhead. So the total of that to the owner would be about $15,536. So let's now take a look and see what it means. So this is the house, this is the cost. What's the bottom line? What is an investor going to make on this property? This is our input page. The purchase price on this property, it is available to you at $25,600. That is an as-is cost. Now the rehab cost is about $15,600. That includes my markup. And you're going to have about $1,000 for your 3-month temp insurance and your closing costs during the construction period. The insurance will need to be in place. That's going to we'll look at the next page for the results. I believe this home would be worth, if you had to sell it right now after the rehab, about $55,000. Monthly rent should come in about $795 monthly. I think that's pretty conservative because this would be a 4-bedroom or a nice 3-bedroom, 1-bath with a den. Good neighborhood, by the way. I have another house that I did about 15, 20 houses down the street from this one, and that home rented quickly, and it has a good tenant. Good, strong neighborhood, very convenient. Excuse me. Okay, I always put an inflation factor in here. I put in 2%. That means your rents go up by 2% each year and your expenses go up by 2% each year. Historically, values have increased 5 or 6, 7%, but I'm putting in 2%. I want to be conservative. So that would put your basis or all of your investment with everything in this property at about $42,200. Now this is the net results of your cash flow, but let's look at the next page before we get to that. Let's look at the breakdown. Okay, here's your purchase price, $25,600. Your rehab cost, your $1,000 for your closing cost. Put your basis at $42,200. Again, I thought the appraisal would come in about $55,000. Your monthly gross rent, $795. I'll put in a 5% vacancy ratio and 5% reserves and maintenance. That's just something standard that I allocate, and you'll see a lot of other pro formas that don't do this. Be real careful when you look at a pro forma. You need to look at the real breakdown and see what's really happening. I put in 10% for a management fee. And in this, I was able to get the tax amount, which is $52 a month. I put that in as an expense, and I put $60 a month in for property insurance. So when you boil it all down, what does it mean? Those numbers just transfer over here to actual numbers instead of percentages. It means you should have a net operating income, cash in your pocket every month of $524. Now, based on a $43,000 investment, because you're going to want to put new appliances in the property, so your total investment with the appliances is going to be $43,200. Now, you won't put the appliances in until you get a tenant, but it is a cost, so we want to put it in. So the annual return on investment would be about 14.56% year one. And again, I know you see these and I present these houses and you say, well, they're all the same. That's because I buy them on the same criteria. I back everything in. I know the percentage that I think that I would want if I'm going to keep it. I know the percentage you want. I may have to look at 30, 40 houses to buy one. But when I do, it's going to hit these numbers, because if it doesn't, I'm not going to buy it. So your return on investment would be about 14.56, 524 a month, and your equity would be 55,000, what it's worth, because you don't have a loan. I'm assuming that you're doing a cash deal. When you come over here, these are cash flows based on a fully amortized loan. Forget the loan because you don't have any payments. Basically what this does, this applies this 2% annual appreciation and 2% inflation factor. What's nice about the inflation factor, let's assume rents go up 2% and expenses go up 2%. Well, rents are a small percentage of your total. Let's assume that your expenses are 25%. Well, if that goes up 2%, it goes up about $5 a month. But if your rent goes up 2%, it goes up about $16 a month. So there's a net increase. And as we look over the years, this gives you the results of that net increase. You begin year one at 524, and by year 10, you should be at 664. So your return on your initial investment actually increases substantially as you get on in the years. And at the end of year 10, if you get a 2% inflation factor, then this would be about $67,000. And if you want to email me for this form, so you can come in, let's put this at 4%. And let's put this at 4%. You can change this and see what your results are. Okay, let's go back to 2%. And 2%. What this yellow means is check this on every house and make sure that it's correct. But you want to put the data entry in over here and it will pop into the second sheet. So again, if you want to look at this a little closer on your own, just shoot me an email and I will send you these sheets. Okay, so that is the property, and it's a very, very good property. It's concrete block. It has newer windows, has some useful life. I'd say maybe 10, 12 years left on the roof. This is almost the perfect property for a portfolio investment, in my humble opinion. Again, I thank you for taking a look, and I will catch you on the next one. If you're interested in this one, you can email me, joelocklear@gmail.com, or call me on my cell phone, 904-813-9526. Thanks a lot.